Hi, Katie Kane here with Avenue Real Estate, bringing you Wednesday weekly common questions. So a common question that I get is how much are closing costs if I'm buying. So you can pretty much still plan on about $3,500 to be the most, and that's including your inspection, your appraisal, your closing costs, escrows and prepaids, depending on the taxes of the property, but that does not include the down payment if your loan is requiring a down payment. Every loan's a little different depending on what you're doing. So FHA is 3.5% down, rural housing is no money down. There's other private packages that you may be offered from your bank of 5 or 10, or you may be doing a conventional at 20% down. You may be doing a VA loan, and then you would have your VA funding fee and things like that, which we can go over independent. But generally speaking, it shouldn't exceed around $3,500. And again, I'm not a lender, but I'm just kind of giving you a ballpark range, and then plus your closing, plus your down payment. So if you some of those things can be prepaid with a credit card, depending on your lender, and then some of these things you are paying out of pocket as you go along. So you'll put down earnest money, which is the good faith money that you put down upon acceptance, and that gets held in the listing company's trust account until closing, and at closing shows up to you as a credit. So if you're bringing in $5,000, you'll be bringing in $4,000 instead, okay? So, and then you're going to have your home inspection, which you're going to pay for at the time of completion, usually within a week or two after acceptance. The price of the home inspection is going to vary a little bit depending on the square footage of the home, but figuring on around $395 to $425 is probably pretty safe, up to 3,000 square feet. If you're going to be doing radon testing, that's going to be an additional $100 that you're going to pay for at the time of completion. And generally those are happening simultaneously with the home inspection. Once you've passed the home inspection and the radon and any negotiations in the middle there, then you're going to have the appraisal. So you're going to pay for your appraisal. Generally that's going to be anywhere around $400 range. Might be a little more, a little less, depending on where the appraiser is coming from and your specific bank, whether they're local or not. And then after you receive your title commitment, at that point in time, your lender's going to go over and disclose to you within 3 business days prior to closing the exact number that you need to bring in to close, to cover the remaining closing costs. So a lot of times what we do is if you don't have that closing cost money, this gap here, then you can write in your offer that a seller to contribute X amount of dollars towards your closing costs. And then let's say for easy numbers, if you're making an offer at $100,000 and you're asking the seller to contribute $3,500 towards closing costs, we'll make an offer at $103,500 and ask the seller to contribute it. And so sometimes buyers will need to do this because a lender may require that you have so much of reserves in your bank account after they'll look at your bank account and say, okay, let's take $3,500 out of here. Let's just say that's the number. And do you have enough left in there for X amount of payments, X amount of taxes, X amount of insurance, unless your insurance and taxes is escrowed in with your monthly payment. So they will want to see some reserves there. And so sometimes pulling that $3,500 out and then pulling your down payment out, it doesn't leave enough left in that account for reserves. And so that can affect your eligibility to be able to obtain financing, right? So a lender may say to you, all right, well, ask for a seller to contribute X amount of money towards your closing costs so that we don't dip into reserves. And so that's, I know, a lot of information, but a lot of times this is very common for people to ask about closing costs and not know. And there's this kind of this overall idea that I need 20% down to buy a house. No, you don't. And there's great programs out there that people are using every day from no money down, and you still have a competitive interest rate. You will carry private mortgage insurance, which is, it's going to be around, $100 to $150 a month based on the purchase price, but that's not, once you have 20% equity in your house or you refinance and have 20% equity, you'll be able to drop the PMI. So it's not there forever. But there are options out there for you if you don't have 20% down. So don't let that affect your questioning of, can I buy a home? So if you'd like to walk down that path with me, please feel free to reach out to me, Katie Kane, Avenue Real Estate. Be a good neighbor.